to our next session, which is coming up now, and stay tuned for the award ceremony and group photograph that will be happening just before the lunch. So the topic is Industry Insights Session, Generative AI, the next frontier in digital marketing and advertising. So we already have our two key speakers joining in on the stage now. Kelferd, he is a Vice President with Investors Digital Experience, RHB Bank, Berhad, RHB Banking Group. So can we have a big round of applause and have him on the stage? And our speaker, Navisha Prabhakar, she's an enterprise digital specialist with Microsoft. Can we have a big round of applause and have her on the stage? So come on, audience, a big round of applause from everyone. All right, so over to you both. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me well. Good afternoon and a big round of applause to all of you for being such a great audience. I think, yes, I love the claps. So thank you for listening to each one of us. A quick round of introduction about myself. My name is Navisha. I am working with Microsoft for the last 7 years. And the topic definitely is pretty engaging, and that's why you see the picture, which is robotics hand, which means that there is going to be a lot of talk around generative AI today. And I have my co-host with me, which is going to touch base on certain use cases there. So just turning back to my introduction, I work as a consultant for technology in Microsoft, which means how do organizations adopt the Microsoft offerings is something that I work with leading enterprises in Singapore and Malaysia. And I've been working in this space for 7 years in Microsoft. 2 years I was with Google as an account manager for consultative selling. And before that, I worked in some of the top leading sales startups as well in India. And on a side note, I also enjoy diversity and inclusion, and traveling is also one of the hobbies that I really like. I think just coming back to the topic, what is generative AI is something that we will see. Can I request you? Right? This one. Okay. So let's start with the topic on what generative AI is. And generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence tool that will help you to create content using text, video, music, videos, and so many other things. A large part of the basic integration of natural language models that we have is that generative AI is used as a co-pilot tool. It is not going to do everything for you. You have to prompt it to do and get the right output or results for you. So it can also respond to various things that you tell the model to respond to. And I think we all know that there are structures of data that have similar characteristics. So there are examples of ChatGPT, which uses the conversational model. There is DALI, and then there is Copilot on modern work that is really taking the market by seeing what can Copilot as a tool help to do and improve the productivity and efficiency within organizations. I think what we are going to touch base today is how generative AI has applications and benefits not just across marketing and advertising, but also across all the other industries like healthcare, entertainment, customer services, art, writing, fashion, technology, so many of them. While I think we all know that there are brilliant examples of great things, there are also challenges and risks associated. So there are possibilities of inaccurate data, but as a human intervention, because it is a co-pilot and you tell the model to do something, it is completely justified that human intervention is absolutely needed. And that is why a lot of debates we are hearing in the market that will this replace human jobs? Will it replace us? So I think being a strong advocate of generative AI, I would always want to focus that everything has its pros and cons, but definitely this is a model that's going to make our lives simpler, effective, better, and also any kind of biased or any harmful context or any misuse of generative AI for cybercrime, fake news, any kind of rumor in the market, right? Because it can make things viral really, really, really easily. So I think this is something that is a challenge, but at the same time, it's completely dependent on how we make use of technology. I think 10 years back, when computer came into existence, I think we all have gone through that generation. We all were thinking, how would a supercomputer come and replace us? How would a computer be more effective to us? But we all know, with the advent of internet, technology, all of this, it's just played in our benefit. So quickly moving on, the next thing is the topic for today, and that is how can generative AI be used in marketing and advertising? So I think this is something that can help a lot of marketers and advertisers to create unique and engaging content and campaigns, because a lot of times marketing people, advertisers really struggle with content creation, crazy deadlines, and a lot of mixed preferences by consumers and customers. So hosting co-creation events where you can collaborate with AI to generate context based on your preferences. And you can also use physical, digital models, an integration of both. Create interactive ads. I think a lot of advertisers are there that use AI to also use augmented reality tools. And the digital and physical worlds are very, very different. So how do you get both of them together? A basic thing on also, there are some marketeers who are saying and telling that how do we recover these old campaigns? So how do you remove duplication of work? A lot of times we are working with customers, clients in our databases, and we are trying to create similar things. But how do we ensure in the organization that all that data that is there, we use it to the effective best? So these conversational models, generative AI, takes your content, skims through it fast, and gives you the result that you need. It will skim through thousands of files instead of a manual person doing it by taking a day or a week to see that data. So you have your old campaigns in place, and then if a new person, new intern joins it, that person can easily skim through that information and can find it relatively easier to use it and use the context again. Again, now you have exploring AI-driven interactive experiences. What are these experiences? They include chatbots, augmented reality, and also the finer elements of engagements, which you can use to provide a unique brand behavior for your brand. So I think these are areas which are seeing great effectiveness in terms of marketing and advertising. And I think generating new content, such as slogans, headlines. We all use Facebook, we all create multiple reels, we all create videos day in, day out. What do we do to create this content? I would mostly go on the internet to find a slogan. So we can use Gen AI to give these slogans to us, headlines to us, images, videos, make these videos for us. And this can be helpful for all kind of people. Like I'm not a marketer or I'm not an advertiser, but still I do it on a personal level all the time. And what are the blockers around it? I think a lot of times there is original content, and then there are content creators, there are influencers who would want to redefine how they use this data again and again. And I think just summarizing this piece, how can it be used in marketing and advertising? I think there are various use cases on every industry type. but the benefits and opportunities are, it requires lot of careful evaluation, how we use it, like I said, and human oversight, because we need to use this ethically. What is there on the internet? What are the files that we are getting? Are we getting accurate results every time we give a prompt to the model? That's something that we need human intervention for. So advertisers, marketers, everyone who's using technology needs to know how this can be used in the best possible way. I think just coming to the last piece for me is, I think just went. Yes, on how can generative AI make productivity higher. I think productivity and efficiency is something every organization really cares about, because if your people are not productive, the results, the net profits, the margins of everything that we do day in and day out is just going to be super critical on what we can do. Just coming back, I think, on this piece, sorry for the slides to move. We want to go back. One slide back.
Hi everyone. No worry, that is actually something I want to share later. It's more on the examples of the real use case or real challenges that we had when we are using a generative AI. No worry, that's no mistake.
Yeah, so sorry for that, and I think just coming back, I think content generation, like I've already said, there's a lot of content that we speak, we reinvent for different platforms, different use cases, different audiences and different purposes. So I've just mentioned that whenever we have content creation, we have crazy deadlines, use generative AI for your own growth, your own personal efficiency, because this tool helps you to get to the right results, right resources, and this will help you in your quantity as well as quality of the campaigns that you are running. Second is also personalization. What you are doing for every customer, for every campaign, for every marketer, for every customer preference, everything that you do and all patterns that you have, how can you customize them easily? So for marketers and advertisers, I think this is going to be a game changer in terms of personalizing results easily, effectively for your audiences. And also I think feedback and optimization. So whenever you get a feedback or response on something, and you use this data to improve the content or the campaign, I think this can be something which can be a powerful and a productivity game changer. And that's the time I had for today. And I think my fellow colleague Kelferd is going to take you through certain use cases. We both will be available, so if you have some personal questions, just after Kelferd finishes his part, we can answer any of the questions. Thank you. Kelferd, over to you.
Thanks, Navisha. Good afternoon, everyone. I believe that some of you probably start to get hungry already. I know it's near the lunch hour. So basically, me, myself, I'm Kelferd, Malaysian. I've been working in the e-commerce industry for quite some time. Back then with Rocket Internet for Lazada setup. I spent also a few years in a big data firm as well as in a marketing consultancy. So right now I'm in the RHB banking group, handling on the digital investor experience, more on the building a digital wealth management platform, as well as on the conversational AI initiative, right? Live chat, chatbot, AI, right? So I'm still learning. There's a lot more to learn, and understand that today generative AI has been a hot topics, and it has been. I believe that it has been being very excited, right? Being pushed by the top management, right? And what I need to share today is more from the client's perspective, right? So today we have Navisha here. She's from the vendor's perspective. So I would like to share from my point of view as a client, right? From bank, right? So from what we see and what we do and how we actually use it, right? What are challenges and opportunity, right? So I think this is something that I put on. Basically, I would say that AI, generative AI comes with a greater benefit, but also come with challenges, right? how it depends how we use it, right? So it's not here to replace human anytime soon, but it's more on a tool that can help us to actually achieve better, right? So if you have heard of the common term that people say Google is your friend, right? So for me, I would think AI, you should make him become your best friend. So you can see here, by giving an example, right, I put in the prompt here. This is the AI that helps to generate images, right? So AI comes with, Generative comes with three key functionality: texts, images, videos, as well as for detecting fraud, right? So I think these are the major three use cases. So number one, by giving an example, I put in here, my boss gave me a red packets and thanked me. So this is what I'm getting, just within, I think not more than 30 seconds, right? So imagine that if today we're having this tool, it saves us plenty of time, right, to think of where to purchase stock images, right? And then you need to get your designer, you need to spend time to brief them, right, to how to come up with the better pictures, and then how you can actually blur the background. So you save time, right? That's one, right? Because personally for me, when I presented some sort of a generative AI idea to the bosses, they will ask me the first question. I believe that most of you probably have been asked before, like, how do you determine what's the benefit, right, in dollar and cents?Hy would we want to invest in generative AI, right? We have designers there, we have agency, why we still need that, right? How does it really help? Can you put a strong justification to me, right? So I think number one is you calculate by the efficiency, right? By giving example, what would be the SLA averagely for your designer to tune out a piece of pictures for your campaign, for marketing campaign, right? So usually I think there will be like 2 working days or 1 working days, right, to brief, to produce, maker and checker in place, right? So you see, this just take me 30 seconds, and then I can straight away send it to my boss to get approval, right? That's one. Can you please move to the second page? Right. Now, see, when I ask the same questions to another AI, right, this is what I'm getting, right? My bosses gave me a red packet and he say he loves me, but I don't know that why my boss become a lady, right? I'm not sure whether why he's going to change his gender, right? My boss is not here today. So you see, even though I put in the prompt correctly with the word he, right, the AI still not able to capture 100% in terms of accuracy, right? So, see, I would say maybe 50% here is correct, giving me the red packet for my CNY. I'm happy if my boss really give me that. And but then it became a lady, right? So this is what we call the challenges as Gen AI hallucination, right? The key term here, hallucination, meaning that the AI could interpret your prompt differently, right? And then confidently give you the response that it deems as correct, which is not, right? So I think this is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to implementing a Gen AI in our banking industry, because you know that we are highly regulated. So that's why I think major banks in Malaysia is not releasing a Gen AI in a big bank, right? So this is for images. I think we can move on to the next one. Right. So I'm not here to pinpoint any brands or say which one is good, which one is better. But you see here, right? So when I ask the question, right, is the customer's phone number considered as material? What does material really mean, right? Material means that a material information that can use it to define or to actually authenticate or identify a customers, right? So in bank, we always use the term, what is considered as material information, what is not material information. So it's a very straightforward question. Is customer phone number considered material, right? As my understanding, it is not, right? But then the AI tell me that it is. And if we just follow what has been responded by AI, we copy and paste into our proposal or we paste it into our study, then it actually doesn't help, right? It creates more problems, right? We should validate further. And because Gen AI is still in a very early stage, to be honest, so there's lots of training still required, right? So there's no bias in data. They're also being able to to be corrected, right? So I think you can share the next screen. Right. So I'm calling this as a correcting the Gen AI, right? The reason being, you see, after that I find out based on the definition that has been explained wrongly to me, then I just tell the AI wrong. Okay, how could you authenticate a person with only a phone number, right? So the AI will start to understand that my prompt, and then to revalidate based on what are the data set that has been trained to respond to me. So you're right, I apologize for the mistakes. I think this is something that I would say is good and bad, right? Number one is basically the AI admit its mistake and tell us that the answer that being shared confidently earlier, which is incorrect. Now the AI has been trained by one of my prompt, right? If there's multiple prompt that being trained to the AI will learn as well. So in future, maybe you'll type the same message, the same prompt like mine, the AI will reply accurately, right? So they also open up to another challenge. We call it as AI poisoning, right? So AI is just like, I put it in layman, it's like a 6 years old kid, by giving example, right? So if you keep telling that 6 years old kid, you put an apple in front of the kid and tell it this is orange, right? You do this constantly for 1 month, right? So the next time you put an apple to the kid, then the kid say, no, this is orange, right? So that's how the logic works, right? So AI still, it will be in the early stage, it's infancy. It won't be matured even if you have out-of-box solutions, right? And the other thing I would like to share is, I believe some of you probably will have a question in mind about implementation, right? You all probably already know the benefits of AI, right? What type of AI is in the market, right? What is the applications, right? But the question is how, right? I think how is the biggest matter, right? So when it comes to how, based on what I've learned so far, right, and I could share is, in terms of implementation, there will be two approach, right? One would be it would be a collectively collaboration between the internet stakeholder, right? We call them as a 3-tier team approach, right? The first one, we always need to engage with the strategy team, right? I believe some of you already have an innovation team or strategy team that come in to look at the overall strategies of implementing AI. How does it fit within your organization? That's number one, right? So you're aligned with the company's vision. Number two, work with the business team or the functional team, right? That would already have immediate pain point, right? So roll out that particular initiative accordingly to the pain point that has been identified, right? And then the third layer would come in as the governance and risk, right? Because AI, as I shared earlier, AI is still in a growing stage, whereby you need a team that come in to look at the data governance, the security, the risk itself, right? So these are the 3 layers that you need to come in together to work closely to govern the entire AI's capabilities, right, in an organization, right? And then when it comes to the next approach, I would say this is more to a tactical approach, right? So once you have that strategy in place, the next thing is how do you want to go to the market, right? I believe this is very important. So my suggestion is, if today we want to go into a Gen AI, but we are not having full confidence, right? Sharing. So we could use agile approach. Right, we try to go to the market with a small, we call it as MVP, right, minimum viable products, to pilot and test the Gen AI, right? Go with the most simple solutions, whereby there's no integration required, minimum investment, pilot for, let's say, 6 months to get the learning, and go with the vendors who can offer out-of-box solutions without customization, right? Test it out first. Go with, let's say, if you are wanting to make it faster for you to test and learn, of course, you could determine on the customer-facing team, right? Like customer service, right? To test it out. How accurate are the response that you're getting from the AI? Monitor on a weekly basis. Set up a small committee. and then from there you can obtain a learning, right? So I think that's one of the two approach, right? One is from a strategically approach, the other one is more on the tactical approach. From there, eventually you will learn more. You know that basically the AI is getting smarter, right? So by giving example across the industry, I think there will be 3 to 5% of inaccuracy. We call it as a hallucination, right? That happen. So it's only 3 to 5%, right? And it depends on how the prompt has been asked, and also what kind of information that you feed into the AI to train it, right? By giving example, if your team you already have a stack of frequently asked question or a sales script, right? You can use it to put into the AI's folder to let it ingest, right? So when you ask the right prompt, the AI would actually go to the particular folder, scan through the documents that you have shared, and respond to the customers, right? So if the documents that you put into the AI's library is incorrect, then you are just garbage in, garbage out. The AI will respond based on what you feed to them, right? So I think that is my view as a client side.
I think just to add to that, like Kelferd said, he is there as a client, and like I've been there on the vendor side. So a lot of times when we use Gen AI to suggest to clients, we would always do an assessment to understand what's the use case, what's the industry type, and what are the industry trends. So depending on what's, like we cannot use a one t-shirt, we have to use a t-shirt size approach, which means if it fits you, it's the best fit for you. It has to be custom made, tailor made, and a general product cannot do justice. So in Gen AI also there are various products that every industry will not get maximum benefit out of. So depending whether it's manufacturing, retail, telcos, how and what are the people that will benefit out of using generative AI. So we do this persona assessment. What will happen if we use it for senior leadership? What will happen when we use it for developers? What will happen when we use it for marketeers, advertisers, HR professionals, and similarly for educational institutes? How is it going to affect the educational institutes as well? So I think just responding from that perspective, from a vendor perspective, you have multiple vendors in market. We are there to help you. We are there to give you the right strategy and technique to help you be successful. And would just want to end on that note that pick what's best for you, see everything, use generative AI for personal and professional. I use it both for my personal and professional mix of things that I start my day in. So use it, custom tailor it to what fits you, and I think every industry type has a very different use case for Gen AI, like Kelferd said, and the way it's coming in the market, every day it's changing. So my best wishes to the audience here to adapt it, use it, and if there are any questions, happy to address those. Yes, and I see the first hand.
All right, we have one question.
Hello. So, I understand Microsoft is one of the forefront players in the AI space.
That's right.
You have acquired stake in OpenAI, which you have ChatGPT, DALI, and whatever not, right? So the question is, what is the next big thing, or in terms of your product from Microsoft, right? What you have now Copilot,
Yes.
right? So what is the next big thing in terms of the AI space that we could be looking for as clients?
Yes, absolutely. I think you've rightly pointed out that Microsoft has AI as the biggest bet. Definitely, I can't answer on behalf of leadership and top management to see what's the other big bet. But looking at Copilot, right, and I am one of the Copilot specialists now, so I think we have Copilot in all the products that we have at Microsoft. Very, very gradually, I think it came in the market. It launched as first mover adopters for limited users, And now I think from January 16th, we have launched Copilot in all the products, and it's still coming live. So whether you use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, SharePoint, you use Excel, Power BI, all the tools that we have, even Azure OpenAI. So all the products that Microsoft has, it is integrating AI into it. Now as a client, that's what I said, we understand what is beneficial for you. Every customer has a different use case, so cannot give a generic answer, but definitely I think what Microsoft is trying to do is, it's trying to do a game-changing technique in terms of productivity and efficiency for all the things that it's, in all the products that it has. So totally depending on your use case, we can have a discussion in more details about what you want to work in your organization. And I think the next bet for Microsoft is AI. So there are a lot of Teams initiatives which we are doing, which means that you can record your calls, you can ask Copilot questions if you've missed a particular call as well. So it recaps the entire functionality for you. So I hope that answers your question, but I'm absolutely okay to do a deep dive and show you a Copilot demo on how I do it with customers as well.
Okay, but very quickly, one more question, one more hand. Okay, two more hands.
Hi Navisha, this is Siri. I recently used Copilot to automate a leave tracker in our organization. It was a wonderful tool. So my question to you is about Gen AI in marketing. How can brands maintain authenticity and trust when using Gen AI?
Thanks for the question, and I think this is a much asked question to us in terms of brand authenticity. So I think every brand has unique traits, and like I said, Gen AI is going to give you a template or a framework to do things, but what is going to substantiate your brand from other brands is how you apply the functionality of Gen AI. You can definitely ask Gen AI to do the heavy lifting of making a presentation within seconds, with Kelferd showed, doing things in seconds. But that is not your USP as a brand. The USP of the brand is what I just spoke about. What is the customer preference? What is the brand customizing for the client, right? So you need to have that unique approach where you use Gen AI in the right way, like you did it for a lead tracking mechanism. Similarly, for all the brands that we have, they come up to us that this result might not be right, and I think Kelferd showed us that you need to give the right prompts. You need to blend in the right techniques. For example, whenever we make a PowerPoint presentation, we have so much content available on the internet. Which content are you picking to show, or which prompt are you giving to get to the right results is going to differentiate you, and how you apply it and how you blend it in terms of video text to speech or speech to text, right? The brands go a very, very far way in terms of running their campaigns, showing the campaign analysis using the Excel Copilot, or you can use so many ways that the brand can show the efficiency of using Copilot to their end customer. That these are there are brands which came to us, and while I cannot name the client, but if you are working with a marketing agency or with an advertising company, they would also want to know what can we do additionally. So I think we always prompt them to use all the things and then see what are the benefits to the client. And I think the feedback, the last part that I just spoke when I was presenting, was also on personalization, customer feedback. When the brands get that feedback, you generally, those brands which take a week to incorporate that feedback and come back to the client, you already miss the bus. There is someone else who just does it faster and just gets the contract. So Copilot will not help, will help you to make that first mover advantage, and will also help you to give right results and give it faster to your end customers. So that's something that as a brand you can try.
Hi, I would like to chime in a little bit. So basically, like what you mentioned, like authenticity, right? So let's put into a very layman analogy, right? The Gen AI, the Copilot, right, like an assistant, right? So why the name is called as a Copilot, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. It basically is to assist you, right? You have a pilot, you have a Copilot, right, to assist you, right? So for a brand to actually get your, let's say you want to generate pictures, right, or campaign idea. So it depends on the prompt that what do you really want, right? You have to elaborate clearly your instructions, just like how you're talking to a real assistant from marketing team. What do you really want? The communication has to be clear. Your ask has to be very clear. By giving example, generate a picture of a lady, right, holding a rose and wishing wishing Happy Valentine's Day, right, and blur the background by giving. So the instruction is very clear, right? So then the AI will actually capture based on the context that you put in, and then analyze, and then based on what are all the images that has been trained, then we will generate a particular pictures, right? So that's one for image purpose. For wording, right? Let's say write me a short article about content marketing best practice. So but if you elaborate more, write me an articles more than 500 words in English on content marketing best practices, and also explain the example in details. Then it will give you a different layout, right? A different outcome, right? So treat the Gen AI as an assistant, giving a very clear instructions, and from there, if you are also using that tool as for copywriting, right? It could be, I would say, it would be a hybrid, right, between the human AI. So that particular AI could help you to generate some idea or a draft for your content writers to start writing, right? So you don't have to copy 100%, but at least you give you structures how to start, right? Or what are the ideas that they can spark with your prompt. From there, you can take it forward, make changes, paraphrasing with tools like Keyboard and the rest of the tools, that you can actually come up with your own version. Right. Thank you.
Hello. So it's more of a suggestion or feedback that I have. It's all about being AI, right, from the past 2 years, right? So I have been, using AI from past 1 year, being especially working in an app marketing agency. Obviously, I'm a marketer, so I need to create multiple prompts, right? Multiple content for the clients. There are several clients with several tasks, right? For you to create the marketing copy, isn't it? So that's when I actually adapted AI, right? So I've used multiple AI tools, all right? The one common problem everywhere was that the content, obviously content is king, isn't it? So when I get the content, it's more of AI generated content, right? So that's where was the pain point, because yeah, it is helpful, definitely. 60% of the time, yes, because you run out of words, right? When you're creating a marketing copy, right? For such a huge long list of clients, isn't it? So that's the pain point that I always had a problem. So is there a solution that you have, or I could give a suggestion to what I do personally is that definitely I would pick up a few lines, right? A few sentence or something. I do a grammar check. Obviously you have other tools available, right? And I try to rephrase the sentence using some other tools, right? So you see, I'm doing a 3-step here, right? So I would suggest that, probably this could be a good feature for you to add it up in your tool, right? Where that actually kills all this process, right? I'm doing a 3-step, and this is a pain point in all the tools, in all the AI tools, that definitely you don't find humanized kind of content, isn't it? And definitely you can't trust 100%. That's also that you need to check, verify the facts and all those things. But I felt like this could be more helpful,
Yes, I think definitely. So I think I'll give it a shot and I'll ask Kelferd to add to me. In my experience, and this is my complete personal opinion, cannot quote Microsoft or products, but I would definitely say, like Kelferd said, and that's my first opening message on Copilot, that it is Copilot. It is supposed to make your work 60%, 80% more effective than what it had to be. So definitely as the engineering model and as you train by giving more prompts, the model is getting more customized to understand your needs. You're a marketer. You do this day in, day out. The model has just come in. The model is still getting trained. It's like a kid, right, which starts with a particular age and goes through that maturity curve. When the product comes on that saturation, right, which it has not, it is just tapping, entering, seeing what are the challenges which are coming. Like for people like you who are giving this feedback to us, we are giving it to product engineering teams, we are collecting all of this and we are taking it forward, right? So Copilot is going to make your work easy. It's going to, for example, in content creation or even in Excel crunching, right? You don't want to sit with doing pivots, macros, running crazy analysis all day round, right? As an Excel user, I've done that all the time, but if Copilot gives me the bandwidth to spend my time by doing the Excel piece brilliantly, but the content creation piece, I still need to customize. Like that's the analogy I do. When I do a CIO presentation, the CIO will always ask me for, okay, can you show me results or give me some reports to analyze, or there are annual reports, right, for an agency that you might see that whether the person can afford that campaign also or not. When we do these deliberation checks, there will be angles where, like you said, content will be the king. We need human intervention. We need people to use the tool to give well-crafted results to what you need. And that's why we need people like you who have 10, 12, 13 years of experience, who have seen multiple of these campaigns, who have seen these campaigns flourish when there was Copilot and when there was no Copilot. That's the brand that you carry as a content creator. Whereas Copilot is going to help you by putting numbers, analogies, and just giving you a framework around things. Like Kelferd said, that it can give you a shorter paragraph, grammatical errors can be checked. We don't need a proofreader or an editing person to keep doing it day in, day out. We can use the bandwidth to maybe create more content. So the exact analogy that I would go for, or I would want to help you with, is use the tool to make your life simpler and easier, but still your personalized touch cannot go away from technology. And I've been in consultative technology sales for now 12 years, and I've seen those shifts, but human intervention is what is definitely needed for any technological change, even Copilot. So use the product to suit you and keep playing with the content the way it prompts, and the model is definitely getting intelligent, and there are intelligent features which are coming up. Look up for those features in the next year. As we make more announcement, Microsoft goes through Ignite, and a lot of other conferences do follow us on the Microsoft page, and happy to help you with more answers and questions.
All right, so can we have a big round of applause for Navisha and Kelferd for a very, insightful topic that we just discussed. The questions are not stopping at all. So, all right, so let's close the session, and thank you speakers for joining in today for this wonderful session.
I request for a good photograph, Kelferd and Navisha. I request Ms. Mitali to present certificate of participation to Kelferd and Navisha. So first we have Kelferd. And next we have Navisha.